right, welcome into Let's Be Honest, you guys. Today we have with me my trainer in LA. He's been my trainer for almost 5 years now, which is hard to believe. He's always someone I can always count in my corner. We've remained really good friends over the years, but he's also the first guy I dated post-divorce. So we're going to talk about how we've remained really good friends over the years. And because how the fuck does that happen? But Jason Walsh,
thank you.
How are you?
I'm great.
It's good to see you.
I'm great.
It's hot in here. I know. We're going to probably be sweating.
I'm wearing a jacket because I have pit stains right now. And so
the studio that we're in, the sun is beating down on us, but we're just gonna make the most of it. We're both gonna be sweating here in a few minutes. But we talk all the time about how lucky and thankful we are that we've been able to remain such good friends even after dating. And so we just thought that would be a good conversation because it's very rare that this happens. And we just want to share that with you guys. So I want to start with you though. And I want to start with your background, how you got to where you are today, because you are one of the best trainers in the business. And so I just want to hear your story.
I mean, I guess you have to go. I've been asked this question before, and I attribute it to my roots in Missouri and the way that I grew up, because it was very unorthodox, and it was more or less I grew up feral. I had a mother that was 17, had sex in a barn, got pregnant, that kind of story. But it's in Missouri in 1975, so. That's a weird time for that kind of stuff. It was embarrassing, and my grandmother tried to hide it and all that kind of stuff. But that's another story. So I had this young mother that it was incredible, the bond that we had growing up. I saw her trials and tribulations and what she had to go through. She wasn't, the best mother, I guess, definitively, like the things that she was able to do. We grew up very poor, had food stamps. I think that those things, though, the are very humbling in a way, and if you can process it and use that to your advantage, I think there's a lot of great stories out there. You hear a lot of good stories of people coming from very humble backgrounds, and using that to either keep them where they're at, accept what society and life has given you, or you use that to get the hell out and empower you. Like, this is not what I want. I don't want to see my mom struggle. And I've always seen my mom struggle. And she had a bad experience, like my father was like, he was MIA. He was like, not mine. And
that's hard.
Yeah. So it must have done something, whatever that formula was, propelled her into deciding that she was gay.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, but as odd as that was, it was also one of the most incredible experiences to, have that, and empowered me in so many ways, because I feel like I got to see things that most kids didn't really get to see or understand. I didn't have that male influence saying, you're going to be this, you need to do this, That's what I was saying. I'm kind of feral, is in a way I didn't have a structure. I didn't have a lot of structure growing up. My mom was like, how's school? Cool. All right. Great. It wasn't like, how are your grades? Or I'm going to go to parent teacher meetings and things like that. So I just have a lot of respect for women. And, look, I'm not going to sit here and be self-righteous about, the way that I, process things, and with women, and especially that. But I did have a very incredible insight and upbringing. My grandmother gave me that structure that my mom couldn't. I think that was her way of making up for being a shitty parent, because she wasn't a great parent. But grandma was the shit. Bartending until she was 85 years old, cigarettes, coffee every day, had a raspy voice. She's just a badass, And I just had that strength and power, from the women's side growing up. So I have. I mean, it wasn't great for me with my relationship with men, because I just didn't get along with men. It actually, it was tough. It was really tough.
I could see that. Didn't you get in your car then and just drive out to LA?
No, so what happened was, I'm in Springfield, Missouri, and which is my hometown down in the Ozarks. And I got jumped one night. I was out with a bunch of friends. I was 19, and we'd all gone out, and we were at a 24-hour steak and shake bar after the clubs. And a bad situation arose. I walked outside. And this guy hit me in the face with a crowbar, blindside. I didn't even see it.
That's right. Oh, wow. Forgot about that.
So I just think that, I think that was the big crossroads in my life. I woke up the next day and I'm like, I'm better than this. I actually looked in the mirror and I saw my face. It was broken, and it was a bad situation, but it was one of those situations that just life slaps you in the fucking face
literally.
and says, this is your this is your chance.
Damn.
You want to get out of your hometown, you want to do something. And I decided that I set a goal. I just said, I'm getting the fuck out and I'm going to go. I'm going to get my education. I moved to, it was 6 months later, I packed everything I owned in my Jeep and I moved to North Carolina. I think it was 2 years in North Carolina. Leaving Missouri was a big step for me, but to find my way and find who I was and figure these things out, moved to Italy, stayed there, I don't know, a year. And really, I figured out who I was and what I wanted. And it became very clear. And I came back to North Carolina, got into school, tested into school, and I ended up getting an internship in the strength conditioning department there. I mean, that's really where things started to change for me. Is I love hard work, and I was an intern. I got hired as a strength conditioning coach full time. I worked there for a few years, and then really I realized that there wasn't a lot of opportunity to move up the chain there. Overall, it was just kind of like I wanted more, and I wanted more information. I was getting hungry for this. I worked out my whole life. I started working out when I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
And, a coach that believed in me gave me the keys to this like really shitty gym where you're going to get, need a tetanus shot because everything's rusted and whatever. Told me to do these things, and I just kept doing it. And I through dumb math of going, okay, if I do this, I'm really good at sports. And then as you get older, you do this, you're really good at sports. The girls like you. It's kind of like one of
formula.
Those. You're like, okay, so that's pretty simple. And it's just been something that's been part of my life. And I started like testing it and going, okay, well, I'm gonna, pull the chain here, and I'm gonna go out to Arizona. And I found this guy. His name's Luke Richardson, who I considered, I really liked his tenure, his voice, his what he stood for, his knowledge. I just thought that this guy was incredible, and I wanted to learn from him. So I moved out to Arizona, started working for him. He got a job. I was there for, I don't know, a few months, and learned a lot. It literally took the foundation of strength conditioning, which I learned at North Carolina, and here comes life. And I go out to Las Vegas to see a friend of mine, and we went to the clubs and we went to the after party, late clubs and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up running into this girl, and I was just enamored. I was just like, it was like love at first sight.
Aww.
And she lived in California, and so I went out to visit her and decided that I was also going to look at what was going on in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles has always been that mecca for fitness.
Yeah.
And as a strength coach, you don't even consider doing anything in fitness because it's kind of beneath you.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We're always like, oh, fitness, just go away,
Yeah, that makes sense.
And again, remember, this is
long time
this
ago.
is back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So things have changed dramatically. And so I don't know. I looked around, I looked at what the top guys were doing out here, and it was kind of like, oh my
alarming.
God, these guys are okay. It's alarming, but it's also like, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You're like, I think I can make some real change. I pride myself on integrity, and it doesn't matter whatever company I'm starting, whatever I'm doing. My intentions are always to help people some way, shape, or form, no matter what it is. That's my intention. It's not, what's the business model that's going to make me a lot of money?
Right.
I don't care about that. If it's good, it's going to make it.
Exactly.
It's going to pay the
It'll
bills.
come.
I had this mentality, and I think, I'm pretty sure I coined the phrase because I never heard it before, but now it's everywhere, where it's, train like an athlete. It's like, train them like an athlete, fix them. And it has served me so well. I mean, it's actually the reason why I'm at this point, is that I've been able to identify issues. One of the best stories I have, I don't know if I have time for this, but I'm going to give it anyway, is, and I absolutely fucking adore this guy. Matt Damon is a good friend and an old client of mine. And he brought me, or not him, his agent, who's a client of mine for 20 years, said, hey, I want you to train my boy, Matt. And so I drove out to Malibu. He was shooting, I think we bought a zoo or something like that a long time ago. It was horrible. Nobody heard of it. But he was, and I'm sit down and met with this guy, and he was like, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make, Patrick happy. You're here. Okay, it's great. But you guys have hurt me. I've had
Wow.
dozens of trainers. Every single one of you, he's pissed. Every single one of you guys have hurt me.
Jeez.
The last guy threw my back out, told me to deadlift. I wasn't able, I wasn't at that point when I said, dude, I go, I get it. I go, the problem is, Matt, people want to impress you. You're Matt Damon. At this time,
he's a big deal.
He's a big deal. He still is a big deal.
Yeah.
But people, they feel like they have to impress. So they've got to go above and beyond, and they got to make you sore. They got to make you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very kind of lowbrow crap that people think that they're going to impress these people. And so, he hurt his back, and he said, listen, man, I can't play with my kids. He's like, I can't pick them up. My back is out. I've had a bad shoulder for a long time. And I said, okay. I said, I get this. I totally understand. I need you to understand something, though, that this isn't the formula for me. This isn't what I do. So I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, give me 2 weeks. And in my mind, I was like, God, what am I going to do? I sat down. I was like, and this is what I do with all my clients. I was like, I've got to find a way to build confidence and
trust
with this guy. And so I went after his shoulder, and not the back. Wasn't first, because that's a bigger picture. That's a lot of stuff that's going on. Excuse me. And so 2 weeks into it, cut to, I walk in and throw a ball at him or something like that. I was like, all right, hit me deep like that, and he threw it. And it was the arm that was really bad. He couldn't even lift it above his head.
Jeez.
And I had fixed his shoulder, and he goes, you son of a bitch.
Oh, wow.
He's like, oh, it's like that little moment. And I said, that got my foot in the door.
Yeah, wow.
And I was like, does that buy me some more time? Let me fix your back.
Wow.
And then once I did that, it was on.
Yeah. I mean, you've trained everybody in the business, or you currently do, or you have in the past.
You know what? It's an impressive track record. I have to stop sometime and look back. I stay humble. You know me? Like I really do. I just don't want to like shout about what I'm doing. I'm not trying to exploit who I am and what I've done at the expense of my clients.
All right, you guys, let's talk about Serve Pro. Serve Pro can make any size disaster like it never even happened. Serve Pro is the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration, and they do construction too. Serve Pro has 50 years of experience helping people recover from disasters. Serve Pro is here to help 24/7. Just call 1-800-SERVE-PRO. They specialize in cleaning and restoration due to floods, storms, fires, mold, and more. They're faster to any size disaster, with over 2,000 locations nationwide. Not only do they do residential spaces, but they also do commercial real estate, which is nice to hear for any business owner. I know as a store owner, I like to know that I have them in my back pocket if I ever do need them. My flagship store, Uncommon James in Nashville, the restaurant behind us actually had a kitchen fire one time, and we were lucky enough that we didn't have to deal with any cleanup. But of course, the restaurant was dealing with an absolute disaster. So this would have been a great time to use Serve Pro. And you guys know, I just moved into a new house. I am actually gearing up to start a little bit of construction. So this actually is music to my ears, because when all of that comes time to clean up, I think I will be calling Serve Pro. So you guys, you should visit servepro.com, or you can call 1-800-SERVE-PRO today. Contact your local Serve Pro today by visiting servepro.com or call 1-800-SERVE-PRO. Okay, here's one of the podcast favorites, which is ritual. It seems like everyone is talking about the gut microbiome these days, right? I've had multiple friends talk to me about it. I've seen it all over social media. It's like we can't get away from it. Fact is, we're learning so much about how the gut microbiome is key to our mental health, immunity, and of course, digestion. If you're looking for digestive support, Ritual has got your back, or rather your biome. With Synbiotic Plus, a 3-in-1 supplement of clinically studied pre, pro, and postbiotics to support a balanced gut microbiome with daily use. I've been taking Ritual now for a few months, and guys, I just feel really good overall. I have not been bloated at all. I'm regular. I'm a huge advocate for probiotics, and now taking the Ritual Symbiotic Plus has definitely impacted the way I feel in such a positive way. I also love that they are high quality, they use clean ingredients, and all of their products are vegan, GMO free, and they're tested for heavy metals and common allergens, which is so important now with all of these other companies that literally don't do any testing. Ritual's Symbiotic Plus is designed with a delayed release capsule to help reach the colon, not the stomach, which is an ideal place for probiotics to survive and grow. So get your gut going. Support a balanced gut microbiome with Ritual's Symbiotic Plus. Get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/behonest. That's 25% off at ritual.com/behonest. Happy squatting. Okay, all my singles, let's talk about eHarmony. The best relationships are the ones where we feel comfortable being ourselves. They're with people who really see us for us, someone who really gets us. So why not use a dating app that's designed to do specifically that? eHarmony helps you find someone you can be yourself with. The eHarmony sign-up process gives each person a distinct personality profile that shows what makes them, them, based on a set of questions everyone on the platform answers. eHarmony members see how shared personality traits with people feel instantly relatable, and differences can complement one another. That's actually what I love so much about eHarmony. I just feel like their profiles are way more robust than a lot of the other apps. And I think just from the get-go, of course, we're looking at photos. We want to see if we find someone attractive, but knowing what you have in common with someone, or maybe what you don't have in common, because that could be a deal breaker, or maybe opposites do attract. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Another thing that I love so much about eHarmony is that they disable copy and paste for first messages, so you get better messages that lead to better conversations. First messages that say more than, hey, oh, imagine that. eHarmony makes it easier to have better conversations, so you're already one step ahead when it comes to meeting someone who gets you. So definitely check out eHarmony. Take their compatibility quiz to get started today. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
You do really a phenomenal job of that. And I think that's why everyone probably loves you too, because you're not out there doing the self-promotion, even though I'll name drop for you. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal, Brie Larson, Jennifer Aniston. I mean, like literally Bradley Cooper, everybody.
Yeah.
And
I just want to do good work.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. I really do. I truly love it. I don't want to lose that love. I'm sure you understand this. Listen,
of course.
Like you came into my life, and I have such admiration for you and what you've, been able to build and accomplish. And, we surround ourselves with these types of people that, can give us some inspiration or some insight or perspective or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important to me. And I really value our relationship, so.
Me too.
And I think
let's talk about that. Let's talk
do you
about,
like that segue?
I did. Good job, Jason. You should host the podcast. So
I'll be back.
Let's talk about how we met, because I think people will want to know that. So let's see. So you used to have Rise Nation. Quickly explain the difference between Rise Nation and Rise Movement.
I was motivated to start something and change the industry, because I think that I do see the good. I like the community aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I like that some of the, you've got the ability to touch a lot of people at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and it did what I created Rise Nation, which was the, climbing machine, which
Versa Climber,
right. Which was, like a relic at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I had never heard of them.
But in the sports world, it was very relevant and it was very useful.
They kick your ass.
It's tough.
They're hard.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. I didn't do it to go, okay, I got something that's going to really kick people's ass. It's like, there's also issues with that. Like, it's so hard. It's not fun. There's zero impact. It's the cross crawl motion. The cross crawl motion is something that they even use in rehabilitative state. It's so important to work both hemispheres of the brain. No other exercise does that. The cross crawl motion. So it puts the pieces back together on a neuromuscular level.
Wow, I did not know that.
So yeah, so it's really it's superior than anything else that was out there at the time.
Yeah.
And so I started in 2014. it became like a zeitgeist, and like LeBron James was bringing his teammates, and the LA Rams were coming, and on a regular. We even trained Lady Gaga there for one of her tours, and then COVID came in and just crushed us.
Yeah.
Crushed.
It used to be 2 blocks from my old condo in LA. So I used to come out and I would do it all the time. I mean, that was what I did. I think I took the 6 a.m. class. So I never actually met you because you would teach the later class.
Right.
My best friend, Justin Anderson, who you know very well.
Jesus,
you guys were very good friends.
Hey, we used to go out, like I love Justin.
He's the best.
He's
so
the fucking
he
riot.
was like, you need to take Jason Walsh's class. He was like, for 2 reasons. One, it's really hard because your class was always 45 minutes.
Well, yeah.
So it's harder.
Well, yeah.
And he's like, and I need to know if you think he's hot. So I was like, all right, I'll take his class.
Yeah.
So I went and took your class.
Motive, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I went and took your class and I reported back to him that, yes, I did, in fact, think you were good looking. And then he came out another trip and we both took your class together. That's when you and I officially met. And then we decided I was going to take private lessons from you at your other private studio.
Yeah.
This was a really pivotal moment in my life because this was what was supposed to be like a week or two before my divorce. And, what happened was I came out here at the time. I was doing a lot of hosting for all of the big award shows. So I was out here for the Oscars and we worked out and you asked me if my ex-husband and I were going to have more kids. And I specifically said, we're in no place to have more kids, knowing damn well in about a week or two after spring break, we're done. I'm moving out. Like,
I was
this
surprised.
had been.
I didn't know that there was.
I didn't say anything.
I was like genuinely like, are you have, kids and like, do you guys think you would have more? And,
just a normal conversation. Yeah.
And you were like,
I like planted that little seed. I was like, oh God, no. So I go home, I go on spring break, and that's exactly when COVID hit, And so long story short, I ended up being in the Bahamas for almost a month, came home, figured out my shit, moved out, all the things. And then because I had a condo in LA, I used to come out to LA a lot during COVID until I was able to move into my new house. And so you and I started hanging out shortly thereafter.
But it was really like, it was genuine. Like it really started off, I think, genuinely like pure admiration and friendship, And
100%.
then there was, you know what I'm saying? It was very respectful. It didn't feel weird or anything like that. It was like, we got along. We were like old friends or something like that. That's how it felt on my end. It really, I was just, I think that you're an incredible person. And when I met you, I was like, wow, like I was just blown away, like your mother, I started to get to know, who you were and your story and what you're going through and that point in your life. But it was just like, I had nothing but like admiration, respect for you,
Well, and vice versa. I think when we were hanging out, it was such an interesting time for both of us.
Yeah.
It was COVID. Obviously, it was weird for everybody. Yeah. I'm going through a divorce. You were going through a lot with your businesses.
I was just going through, I was, it's a weird fucking time. And it, I think that there was, for me, I think there are just different pivotal moments in your life. There's chapters in your life. There's, we all go through our own maturation and evolution as a person. And, I think at that point in time, I had a lot of compassion and empathy and things like these kind of running through my mind. And I don't know, we really got along and we were friends, and it started off very organic.
Do you remember I asked you, I will never forget it, because this was a big deal for me, because this was the first
was a big, and I
guy.
knew that.
I know. So the first guy in over 10 years that I'm like in this new situation with.
So when did you get married? How old were you?
Well, I met my ex-husband when I was 23.
Yeah.
So,
right.
We were together for 10 years.
Yeah. And
so the first guy is an adult, that I was hanging out with. And I remember Pache, we went to dinner, and this was, I don't know, after a couple of months of hanging out. And I was like, so, like tiptoeing around the conversation, like, so what are we? Are we dating? And you were like, I will say you're the most mature guy I've ever been with, because, and you said, well, let's, finalize your divorce and then we'll see what happens.
I wanted to think that at that point, I wanted to be respectful, and it was an opportunity to me to like be an adult, like, I think that at that point in time, I'm not going to be self-righteous about women and what I've gone through and these things. We all do things and make mistakes. And I don't consider mistakes either. You
No,
know, like
yeah.
I you know, like we have different phases of our lives,
Mhm.
and this was an opportunity. I'm 49 years old. You know, like at that time, I don't know, 40, whatever,
Yeah.
and it was an opportunity to really be, empathetic and think these things through instead of just making a reaction, you know. And I knew that you, with your kids involved and the ex-husband and where you were at, and I was really thinking about you during this point. I didn't want to be anything other than a a good person in your life. I was really worried about that. Like I
Yeah.
had to like take a lot of things into consideration. I'm proud of myself for doing that, because I don't think that was I would have done that in the past. I just am like, it's almost like a selfish thing where you're just like,
Oh, yeah.
I love this woman, and I think that's another thing. It's like, how do you define love? And sometimes it looks a lot different than what you realize, or the stereotypical definition. And for me, it was knowing that I have to do the right thing here, and that to me was like, how can I show how you mean to me?
Yeah.
And it felt very mature, and I was kind of proud of myself for doing things the right way. I know, because obviously older than you, I've gone through things, and I wish somebody would have done these things for me.
Yeah.
Remember? And I
Yeah.
said to you, what did I say to you? I said, we were getting close and, spending time together. And I genuinely, had feelings for you and cared for you, but I wasn't going to be selfish enough to like keep you,
Yeah.
like in that space. I knew what you needed. And you got married and you lost a lot of that like time to grow and figure your shit out and figure out who you were. I said, Kristin, you have got to like spread your wings. You need to know what it feels like to be alone. You need to know what that feels like to be scared, and like figure out who the fuck you are, because you haven't had the chance. It was really stunted. And as much as I didn't want to do it, I did it.
Well, and it really was the coolest thing any guy has ever done for me, where you really were just thinking about me. I had never experienced that before.
Right.
And you were right. That was exactly what I needed.
You needed these things. I saw it, and I wasn't going to be the guy that was like, I just would have felt like a piece of shit, and I didn't want to feel that way about, and I want it. Look, we're still like great fucking friends.
Well, right.
Man.
And I do think, and I'm curious what your thoughts are too about how we've been able to be good friends. I do think it's because we were always honest with each other. There was always mutual respect. We never let it get weird after either.
And there was a lot of admiration on both sides. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my story, where I came from, what my motives are in life, what I want to accomplish. It's pretty simple stuff. And again, I give that, I look back at my humble beginnings, and staying, staying true to myself. I want to stay genuine and authentic. And I don't want to be a hypocrite, so I just think that there's a lot of admiration and respect for one another, and it grew into something. I consider you one of my, really close and best friends, because I trust you implicitly, and I love seeing you go through your maturation as a, as a woman, and being able to see and go and do things, and I've known you for a while now, and you're about the happiest I've ever seen you, and it makes me really, really fucking happy.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and vice versa. I think that's what's so beautiful about us, is that we just want the best for each other.
Yeah.
And I know no matter what, even if we didn't talk for 2 months and I got myself into a situation, I could always call you.
Yeah.
And you would always be there.
Always. Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's talk about Lumi. While vacation season is kind of coming to an end here, I did absolutely love all of the trips that I took this summer. Of course, my favorite was Greece. But you know what I didn't want coming to Greece with me? Body odor. That's because no matter where I go, I always bring Lumi whole body deodorant. It keeps me smelling fresh all day, everywhere from underarms to my under boobs to my feet. In fact, it's clinically proven to control odor for a whopping 72 hours. So I could fly all the way to Greece and still smell fresh for landing. And did I mention that they make the perfect mini deodorant for your travel bag? I am such a sucker for little travel things. I just think they're so cute. And they have a special offer for new customers. You can get 15% off all Lumi products with my exclusive code and link. Use code HONEST at lumideodorant.com. That's LUMEDEODORANT.com. Lumi is great, you guys, because they have really interesting scents. They're also created by an OBGYN who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. I also love that they're baking soda free and paraben free. They are pH balanced for safe use below the belt too. Okay, so you guys, Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for my listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with my exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off your first starter pack. Use code HONEST for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code HONEST at LUMEDEODORANT.com. Okay, another podcast favorite is Bon Charge. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand with a huge range of evidence-based products to optimize your life in every way. Founded on science and inspired by nature, all Bon Charge products adopt ancestral ways of living in our modern-day world. Their extensive range of premium wellness products help you sleep better, perform better, have more energy, recover faster, balance hormones, reduce inflammation. Yes, they basically do everything. From blue light glasses and infrared saunas to red light therapy to EMF management and circadian-friendly lighting, Bon Charge products help you naturally address the issues of our modern-day way of life effortlessly and with maximum impact. My personal favorite product from Bon Charge is their red light face mask. Something that red light is really good for is wrinkles, acne, scars. I mean, it really just helps with a ton of stuff. Also, just balancing all of the blue light that we're constantly bombarded with all day. Love the red light face mask because it's so easy to use. You just put it on and you can go about your daily stuff. You could do laundry with it on. You could just sit there and watch TV. You could make dinner. I mean, literally whatever you wanted to do. I've tried all the other brands on the market and they do not even compare to Bon Charge. Also, Bon Charge removes circadian and sleep disrupting blue and green light from their red light face mask. Other brands keep those light frequencies in their masks, which can disrupt your sleep and circadian clocks. I feel like since I've been really using my red light face mask regularly, I've had people commenting on my skin. I feel like my lines are a little bit softer and people have just been saying how my skin is glowing. So, hey, I'll take it. So go to boncharge.com and use coupon code HONEST to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com and use coupon code HONEST to save 15%. Since you hit play on this podcast, thousands of photos have been posted on social media, capturing the moment, but not always living in them. A few hundred more now. Cotton is asking us to help my listeners take a pause, to tell stories instead of just watching them, and to make moments better by wearing a versatile, comfortable, and long-lasting fabric. A fabric you may be wearing or even laying on right now. Cotton is my go-to. There is nothing better than wearing cotton when you're lounging around the house. My favorite is a nice flowy cotton dress in the morning, having my morning coffee on my front porch. Cotton is natural and comes from the earth. Because it's natural, it does not contribute to microplastic pollution. Cotton is versatile, long-lasting, and timeless. Cotton is comfortable, breathable, and easy to clean, giving permission to be authentically you. I always try to look for 100% cotton, not only because it's natural, it's good on the skin, and I can just always count on it. Also for my kids as well. And even when they were little babies, 100% cotton was always really important to me. Cotton is asking all of us to recharge in our own way. This could mean putting down your phone or scrolling on it for hours. You do you. This makes me think of my alone time that I need for recharging my batteries. There is nothing better for me than being home, wearing something really comfortable, and just having a minute of peace and quiet for myself. That is when I am the happiest. So you guys, press pause with cotton, the natural choice. Discover the fabric of now at thefabricofourlives.com.
Can I tell you my favorite memory of us? So it's appropriate, I swear. So before we hung out, I'd only been on a motorcycle one time, and it was for the hills.
God, yeah.
And so when you have someone telling you, you have to be on a motorcycle and who it's with, to me, that doesn't count. So my real first experience on a motorcycle was with you. And we used to whip around the Hollywood Hills, and
best.
With where I was at in my life of getting out of this 10-year marriage and feeling that sense of freedom, coupled with being on a motorcycle and having to just completely let go and leaning into it and going on these turns, it was the most incredible feeling I've ever experienced.
Women need, I think that you just need someone that's going to put you first and make you feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
that's what you did.
And on many levels, you know, like it's not being selfish, and it's just being, you know, respectful and loving and putting that first. So, you know, I think it's incredible that's how it went, and how what came out of it is this incredible like friendship. And I'm very happy to see you. You know, I get to sit back and watch how things, you know, play out, and it's also never been weird. There's never been a weird moment.
We never let it get weird.
It was never. And
when I tell people I still work out with you, some people are like, "How?" I'm like, "That was never even like. Of course, I was going to work out with Jason when I go to LA. That was never."
And again,
a thing.
I don't think that we had the like stereotypical kind of like we're dating and then blah blah blah. And it was like we were there for each other. I needed you on certain levels. And I think that the biggest level for me was to do the right thing, and you know, I needed to be able to do that. You know, it was
love
crazy.
That.
Yeah.
I know.
The motorcycle thing.
The motorcycle was the best.
I've been riding motorcycles for like I don't know,
that was
since
the
I
best.
was 14 or something like that.
And the other one I just thought of this was when we went to Malibu and saw the phytoplankton. Remember in the ocean?
When it first, the first time that we heard about the blue water, and we're like sitting there waiting, didn't see it, and then all of a sudden we saw it. Yeah,
that was awesome. We had a lot of fun for the middle of COVID. But okay, you are one of the best trainers in the business, so of course I have to ask you some training stuff. And so while you're great at getting men jacked for movies, you're also incredible with women's bodies as well. Most of my listeners are women, so I do want to focus on women's bodies.
Okay.
So I just want you to break it down for us. How often should women be working out, and should we be weight training? Should we be doing cardio? What is the formula there?
Oh, well, it's complicated because, you know, everybody's different and complicated. And that's why I still think that, you know, the training that I do, the one-on-one training is still the best by far. And I don't think that'll ever change. And it's not because I'm biased towards it. It's just because every single person I get in has something going on with their body. I mean, down to like, you know, nutrition, recovery, sleep, you know, people are dealing with hormones, you know, I mean, there's so many pieces of the puzzle to put together. And if I just go in and tell, you know, the broad strokes, then I'm part of the problem, you know, and that's how I see it. I don't think that the training and the science of training it's the easiest part, you know, it's really just staying active, moving. I don't know.
Every day?
Fuck more. I don't know. You know, like you know,
great
like
advice.
Honestly, you know, it's like
I mean,
move.
Good cardio.
Good cardio. It could be. It should be. But no, just the endorphins and the things that come with that, I think are really important. But no, I think that sleep is a big one that is kind of a new topic. That's a hot topic right now. I think nutrition is major for body composition things. That to me, but just like in LA, you know how it is in LA. It's you drive everywhere, right? When I'm in New York, I come back in New York from just walking and being out all day, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. My joints hurt. I'm like, man, I was like 20,000 steps or something. You know, I don't think there's any one magic formula for everyone. I think everybody's got to figure that stuff out. For the most part, I tell people just to get outside, you know, and you know, after COVID with the psychological aspects and things like that, it's just like being out and starting to like remember, you know, what it's like to move and be happy. Sleep is a big problem with a lot of my clients. You know, it's a big issue. And again, nutrition is a big issue.
Well, when you talk about nutrition, what I love about you is that you eat healthy normally, but you don't deprive yourself.
What is healthy?
Well,
though?
right.
You know,
I mean,
let's define what healthy is, you know, because
eating real food. That's how
it's
I
like
would
it doesn't
consider
have
it.
to be so complicated. Remember, these people in the fitness industry want to keep things complicated. They
Yeah.
want to keep you confused. The biohackers, it's money. They want to. It's greed and money. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now there is some good information. There's some good stuff out there. And I want to like state that everything that I'm saying from here, pretty much for the rest of the podcast, is in my opinion. And I've got years under my belt to see and test these opinions or these theories on people, and I can see what the results are. But, I always defer to like dietitians, not nutritionists, because everybody goes out and they get certified. I'm a nutritionist, and you're going, okay, which is just a person with a lot of opinions. Dietitians are scientists. These people get licensed, I don't want to take from their expertise and start putting my opinion, because then again, I think I'm part of the problem. I would always defer to these guys, but I will tell you, my opinions on things. And I look, my dad died at 42 of a heart attack, died in his sleep, and I have genetic disposition to like coronary artery disease. And so I started going in and get my blood test, and I saw that my cholesterol was, not good. I'm like, how? I don't eat poorly.
Yeah.
And so I just started doing some deep dives into that stuff and getting my heart scanned, and got to a point where, I was, I needed to take more steps, and getting on a statin and changing my diet. I'm pretty much like, I push more into like plant-based. And what I mean by that is that I eat a hell of a lot more vegetables and beans, legumes, and things like that. I'm just healthier at this point, and I do really, really enjoy it. It's new to me. It's just something I'm kind of discovering and understanding, and with that diet, and my blood work has done. I mean, it's changed dramatically, and it's just a fun test. I
love testing all
I do,
my vitals.
what works for you, and I think that's important that people kind of find that thing. I don't like diets. I don't think that there's one thing that fits all. I don't think there's any cheat codes out there, the Ozempic stuff like that. I think it can be good. I think it can be useful, but I also think that they're not telling you the whole truth right now, and there hasn't been enough tests for these things long term, and I think that there is always. The piper has to be paid. You're gonna pay the price if you want to, the cheat code.
I agree completely.
Strength training is important. Look, the muscle, the body responds to stress.
Yeah.
The problem I have with telling people to go out and do strength training is majority of the time they're going to go to like these, boot camps or places like that, pick up some weights, do things wrong. And I've seen so many injuries. That's why I will never advocate that stuff.
Yeah.
There's some apps out there. I just, the problem with the fitness industry is that it's a default industry for a lot of people. During COVID, especially, people are like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be, I like to work out. I'm a trainer.
Yeah.
It's not regulated. So people are very fraudulent in that they, overstate their claims to what they are in the industry. If I hear someone tell me they're a celebrity trainer one more time, I'm going to just, who cares? Don't call yourself. I know you're trying to put yourself up on a pedestal.
That's self-promotion.
I like training people. I treat my clients like they're just normal people.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. But it's important that we start to like peel back the onion and start to do the right thing in this industry, because it's going down a really bad path. And I don't know. I think we can save it.
Yeah. You single-handedly can.
No, I'm too tired. I'm too old and too tired at this point. So
I know personally, I've really upped my protein in the last year, and I've noticed a difference with my body. And I'm curious, you have a protein powder, which I'm so excited that you have right here. But what is your take on protein? How important is it, and how much should we be getting?
So I brought some stuff too, because I'm not going to sit here and just promote my stuff.
Look at you.
Today is brought to you by Uncommon James, and this is my favorite.
I've never talked about a candle on my podcast. I'm happy that you are.
You sent me these, I love these candles.
Thank you.
They're soy. I mean,
They're
there's
great.
no toxins coming out of it, which,
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm not actually healthy, and nor do I have a tan.
I love you. He's wearing the bronzing drops.
I'm using the bronzing drops, and that's why I look.
I love you. Oh my gosh.
So,
hell yeah.
anyway.
All right, now we can talk about the protein.
Anyway, so back to me. I was on a project with one of my clients, and it was for Roadhouse. And there's a lot of issues out there in the supplement industry. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's some big industries that want huge margins. There's a lot of money to be made. And I have a hard time with that. I don't feel like they really genuinely have people's health in mind. It's a greedy industry, and it's really bad sourcing and a lot of bad ingredients. And that kind of just led me down this path because my client was having a lot of issues, like GI issues, and from the protein. And these things are really hard to digest and break down, and your body can inevitably have issues with enzymes that it's not producing the protease to break down in these big proteins. I don't know. It was an opportunity. Again, it was like identifying, like I did when I moved to LA, that there's something missing. That I think that there's something that can be better. I identified it, and I decided to come up with this protein. Mostly, it wasn't to like come up with a bag and a brand and all this kind of. It just started as like, we can formulate this protein that is broken down very easily. It's a full, a perfect protein. And so we actually figured out the formula for this, and it comes from plant-based proteins. That way, everybody, we didn't do it plant-based to be like vegan or anything like that. It's like, how do we make something that everybody can take? Mm-hmm. We came up with this formula, and our client absolutely loved it. Was able to put on, muscle. The media loves to talk about, protein synthesis and hypertrophy and putting muscle on, but it actually helps with metabolism. Right?
Oh, that makes sense.
It helps with like cell turnover. Like, you want to stay youthful.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it's not just the protein, the muscle thing.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay.
For women, it's even, it's really important for collagen and elastin and these things that help with the youthfulness of skin.
Amazing.
So,
if that's not reason enough.
Like do your research, and
make sure it's good quality.
Make sure it's in the sourcing. And so look, this is a high-end protein supplement that I came up with. One of the main reasons why I like it is that it's like 8 ounces of water. It mixes. You don't have to have a blender. It doesn't have to be this daunting thing where you have like a huge shake and you have to choke this thing down. Mm-hmm. It's just like
good too.
It's good. It's like,
it's good.
Can I make you a quick one? And 8 ounces of water. Get a little shaker cup.
Okay.
I hope I don't get this on your couch here. And I had to tell people how much I love your candles and the face tint.
I know, I love it. Have you really been using it?
Yeah.
You have?
This is what I got it on.
You
right
have
now.
it on?
I was like, I'm gonna be on. I don't wear makeup, so
that's why you look so good. Your skin is glowing.
Is it?
Yeah, the bronzing drops.
All right. But look, no shaker ball, none of that. It mixes so well. And
it is good. I have a bag at my condo here. I have a bag at home.
That's 30 grams of protein in a very small amount.
Nice. Okay.
Of volume.
It's really good.
It's good.
I'm not just saying that. Yeah. I do. I drink it at home.
Yeah.
I do.
Kids,
I love it.
Try it. Let the kids try it.
My
grandmother used to give me protein from Shackley when I was a kid. And I was like, but I liked it. So I drank it.
My oldest is doing protein shakes now.
Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
All right. You're the best, Jason.